I think it's going to come down to, I'm going to roll with the dice here and go with what last year. I'm going to say Portland Lakers out the West.
Who out of the West?
I'm going to say Portland. They're going to outdo the Lakers. I'm going out on them
to
here.
the finals.
I'm going out.
All right. Didn't you hear KD? Didn't you hear KD on the CJ McCollum podcast last year? Come on, man. Y'all can't win the finals.
You know, it's only human to make mistakes in life. It's impossible to be 100% right all the time, but sometimes you could end up being so wrong that it's almost laughable.
Good riddance. Good riddance. Dan Gilbert will bring us a winner. We don't need LeBron. And I hope we come back stronger next year and we win the NBA championship. Next year, baby. Always next year.
It's always fun to go back and look at what people said in the past to see if they hold up at all.
DeAndre Ayton is going to be the #1 overall pick, but it's incredibly important that the Phoenix Suns don't mess this up. I don't give a damn about how this kid in Europe looks.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. And may God have mercy on your soul.
Whether it's brazen guarantees or just when somebody was flat out wrong, this video is full of examples where people failed hilariously in that department. So sit back and enjoy the video. We just witnessed not too long ago, Jimmy Butler ensured that his team would win Game 2 in this most recent NBA Finals.
So coming into Game 2, all the adversity backs against the wall, yada, yada, yada. We're gonna win.
And as you all know, that's not what happened. But one that stands out to me even more involves Rasheed Wallace back in the day. Particularly with the Pistons, he did have a history of making several guarantees. In fact, they used to call him Guaranteed. It all started when back in 2004, his Pistons went up against the Indiana Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals, and in Game 1, the Pacers managed to squeeze out the victory to take an early lead in the series. Rasheed didn't really perform all that great, and was understandably upset about the loss. So heading into Game 2, he made sure this game would be a different story. Quote, "We will win Game 2. But wait, he wasn't finished getting his point across. He went into full Marshawn Lynch mode and repeated himself multiple times.
Y'all put it in the front page, back page, middle page, wherever. Headliners, column 1 or 2, we will win Game 2.
Back it off.
We will win Game 2.
And impressingly, that's exactly what happened. Tayshaun Prince came up clutch with this late game block to seal the win. Sheed was usually pretty successful when guaranteeing a win, but sometimes you can't win them all. Like in 2006, when the Pistons took on the Cavaliers in the second round, Detroit took care of business on their home floor to start things off. But then, as the series headed to Cleveland, the Cavs also did what they were supposed to do. After LeBron and the Cavs won Game 3, Rasheed had this to say.
We're gonna bust that. I'll tell you that now. That's a given.
It's a guarantee?
We're gonna bust that. I know we're gonna win. Like I said last night, I know we're gonna bust that. Tomorrow night is the last game here in this building for this year.
But unfortunately, they couldn't get the job done, and this was Sheed's reaction.
Can't take nothing away from them, even the sun shines on the dog. Like I said, they beat tonight. Which is good for them, you know, that was something that they needed to do.
With Rasheed irresponsibly guaranteeing wins behind his team's back, without even discussing it with them first, it gave them no other choice but to back it up. His teammates stood by him for the most part, but Ben Wallace wasn't particularly happy that they were being forced to cash checks that he was writing himself.
You can't let a man come out and predict a win for you, and we go out and play like that and stank it up like we did. Players, coaching staff, everybody.
Still, Rasheed did not have the ability to keep his mouth shut.
Guarantee a series win for you guys? Man, ain't no way in hell they gonna beat us in no damn series. You know, they played a good game, but nah, they ain't gonna beat us in the series.
Ultimately, everything did end up working out in the end. They won the series in 7 games, but he should know that sometimes being overly confident can run the risk of you looking stupid in the end. Moving on to Charles Barkley, who perhaps is the most infamous when it comes to throwing out guarantees. Well, at least as of lately. As you all know, he has a reputation now for some of the worst predictions.
As a Nuggets fan, I'm just hoping Charles Barkley will pick the Clippers to sweep and bring out a broom. Y'all ain't gonna win the game. Y'all ain't gonna win the game.
His pre-game opinions have become a show on its own, but we kind of forgot about an incident that blows almost all the other stuff he said out of the water. During the 2011 All-Star break, the TNT crew were having themselves a fun little game where you must try to assemble the greatest team that you possibly can. And Chuck had the privilege of picking first in this fantasy draft. Everybody knew who the obvious number 1 pick was to start things off, but with Charles being the unpredictable person he is, shocked everyone.
Charles, who's the first pick? Let me guess. Allen Iverson. Wow. Are you serious? Yep. Is Michael Jordan not on your list? He's on my list, but I picked Allen Iverson. This is not an all-star game. Not an all-star game. This is your greatest team you can assemble. Well, it's too late now. Yeah. The big green machine.
As Ernie just stated, it wasn't supposed to be an all-star team draft, but Charles got it confused, possibly because it was All-Star Weekend. Ironically, Michael Jordan still ended up being taken 3rd overall, just like what happened in the 1984 NBA draft, because McHale wanted to stay loyal to his Celtics and picked Larry Bird 2nd. Throughout the entire rest of the show, Barkley got destroyed for taking Iverson first. Don't get me wrong, Iverson was a beast, but certainly doesn't deserve to go number 1 in an all-time draft, and this will be forever known as an epic fail. I'm sure most of you are familiar with Chris Smoove on YouTube. I always enjoy watching his highlight videos that he posts of NBA games that I might have missed. And one night, about a year and a half ago, he posted a video talking about how it's official that the Oklahoma City Thunder will be facing the Portland Trail Blazers in the first round of the 2019 NBA playoffs.
Gonna get that matchup. They're gonna be taking on the Portland Trail Blazers instead, and the Thunder. Will they get eliminated in the first round, or will they finally advance?
So I was laying in bed, getting ready to read the comments, and with me being a big Blazer fan, I kinda expected that people in the comments would choose OKC to beat Portland in advance. But the comments that I encountered were absolutely brutal. Come on, you know we gonna advance. We playin' the Blazers, lol. If you think the Trailblazers taking out the Thunder, you off a pill. Thunder gonna sweep the Blazers, book it. I mean, it's one thing to hope that your team wins, but the fact that they were so sure of themselves, displaying an extreme amount of arrogance, really made my blood boil just reading them. OKC has a low-key easy path to the Western Conference Finals. Yeah man, that's what I'm talking about. Best case scenario for my Thunder. 4-1 Thunder. Hopefully, we will bro, but the next round will be difficult. The Thunder is going to at least the semis. So that night, a couple days before the playoffs began, I sat there and said to myself, alright, you just wait and see. And we all know how things unfolded. It was extremely satisfying when I went back to read some of these old comments. I wanted nothing more than for my Blazers to get this victory, and it couldn't have ended any better. And just like the Houston Rockets fans felt after the 2014 Dame shot, I hope the Thunder fans felt the same exact way. And now, I even have a framed picture of it immortalized on my shelf, as I make sure to kiss it goodnight before I go to sleep. It's no secret that sometimes Russell Westbrook can let his emotions get the best of him, partially due to the amount of passion he has for the game. But from time to time, he does feel like he has to prove something to us, even if it's for no reason at all. In 2018, the Oklahoma City Thunder took on the Utah Jazz in the first round, and in Game 3, Ricky Rubio balled out. He had himself an impressive triple-double, which resulted in a win, giving the Jazz a 2-1 lead in the series. Westbrook, on the other hand, struggled all night, and did not like the kind of praise that Rubio was receiving, so he felt the need to say this.
He made some shots, too comfortable, but I'm gonna shut that off next game, though. Guarantee that.
So heading into that pivotal Game 4, Russ came out on a mission early in the game, motivated to shut down Rubio. But it would cause him to pick up 4 early fouls just in the first half alone, and would ultimately end in another disappointing loss, down 3-1 in the series after that. Westbrook was asked to speak on the little situation he was having with Rubio, but he wanted to make it clear that there was nothing going on between them.
Well, it's not about me or him. Let's get past that. We done with that.
OKC would be sent home early in 6 games, as the series ended pretty ugly. Tracy McGrady, no doubt a Hall of Famer, a perennial all-star who performed at a high level day in and day out. But there is one tiny blemish on his resume that he cannot ignore. Never once has he made it out of the first round in his whole career. And I shouldn't really have to explain why the 2013 finals run he had with the Spurs doesn't really count. We all know he didn't really contribute enough to that team for it to qualify. Let's go all the way back to the year 2003, where surprisingly, he actually led his 8th-seeded Magic to a 3-1 lead over the number 1 seed Pistons in the first round. Once T-Mac was able to take a 3-1 lead in that series, human nature kicked in and he started to act a little complacent, taking his foot off the gas, while at the same time already acting like he has this series in the bag. He just assumed that his team would be advancing to the next round, before even putting the final nail in the coffin. And then we all know what proceeded to happen next. Orlando blew that 3-1 lead, the very lead that had them convinced that the second round was a foregone conclusion. McGrady was so close to moving on, but couldn't quite close it out, and what the commentator said as the game was coming to an end looked like it further jinxed him. Listen to this.
But a guy like McGrady, he's going to be in the league so long, and he's going to go much deeper in the first round of the playoffs. You know, 5-10 years from now, he's going to look back at this whole situation and laugh about it.
What that guy said couldn't have been farther from the truth. He had no idea that he was dead wrong. Back in 2007, the Portland Trail Blazers was gifted the number 1 pick in the draft. Of course, Kevin Durant was a considerable option, but Greg Oden was the guy that everyone was talking about. He was supposed to be the next legendary big man in the game. It was not even a question who the Blazers should grab. There was so much excitement surrounding Oden that somebody let it be known in this little rap song that they remixed around the time of the draft.
Somebody say, hey, we want Greg Oden! Hey, we want Greg Oden!
They made it clear who they wanted badly, and even took a little shot at KD in the process.
Nearly crapped my pants, knew we had a chance. We either get the best player or Kevin Durant.
The confidence they had in Oden was so strong that they even had the nerve to say this.
So to all of the Raptors and the Chicago Bulls, we'll see your punk asses in the finals, fool.
Yeah, looking back, I bet these guys feel pathetic about the lyrics that was written. Transitioning to another situation where Portland fans, and even all fans for that matter, got it completely wrong. Back in 2009, the NBA had the fans vote for who they wanted to see in the slam dunk contest. Dwight Howard, J.R. Smith, and Nate Robinson quickly got voted in to participate in the event, so then that meant there was only one spot left that needed to be filled. You could either choose Russell Westbrook or Rudy Fernandez, and when it was all said and done, Fernandez ended up beating Russ out for the final spot, as he received more online votes from the fans. Westbrook was disappointed by saying, "It is what it is. You want to win, but it's out of your control." Considering that Russell Westbrook was just a rookie that year, maybe the fans didn't really know much about him, who knows. But looking back at how these two guys' careers turned out, I think it's safe to say that today's voting would be a much different story. It's still surprising that Rudy Fernandez got more votes than Russ.
Rudy Fernandez. He's got to do something. Yeah, he's got it, because no one in this building knows who he is.
And he would go on to not even make it out of the first round.
Are you kidding me? But what was he going to do afterwards? Are you kidding me? Oh my God. Just throw it off the backboard, man. Oh, Kyle's killing him. Wow.
A young Westbrook could have done some damage. In the 2004 NBA Slam Dunk Contest, we witnessed another player who looked like he didn't even belong there, Fred Jones. The dunk that he's about to do here actually got a 50 from the judges, a perfect score, but I cannot figure out why.
I'm glad y'all finally showed somebody other than LeBron. Y'all done showed him 1,000 times tonight.
Freddie Jones from Oregon.
did they see something different than what I saw? Because how in the world did that dunk impress the judges? Unless they were all Stevie Wonder in disguise, I can't seem to come to a logical conclusion. I've seen better dunks take place in high school warm-ups than that. Even Ernie Johnson has my vote over him. Maybe I'm just being a little too harsh, but this one is just confusing. And they ultimately gave this man the trophy.
No, he doesn't know that.
A couple years ago, Lakers vice president and GM, Rob Pelinka, was speaking in front of the players during a team meeting, and he told a story that didn't quite add up. He said that Kobe went out and had dinner with Heath Ledger, who played the Joker in the 2008 film The Dark Knight, just before he played the Knicks on February 2nd, 2009. And that the reason why Bryant reached out to Ledger was because Kobe got inspired by his performance as the Joker after watching that movie, and wanted to talk to him about how he was able to immerse himself in that character so well. And then Kobe proceeded to drop 61 points in Madison Square Garden shortly after. But there was one little detail in that story that immediately needed to be answered. How could Kobe and Heath Ledger have dinner together right before his 61-point performance in 2009, when Ledger passed away before that 2008 movie had even released? Either Pelinka made the whole thing up, or he got the details completely wrong. Bryant eventually cleared things up about what really happened. He said he watched the movie right before that 2009 game in his hotel room, and that was what inspired him to go beast mode in the Garden. All I'm saying is, he absolutely butchered that story. Alright guys, so there you have it, a mixture of guarantees gone wrong, as well as examples where people came out the other side totally incorrect. Make sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.